In lesson 6.2, we're going to talk about tangents of circles. And we know that a tangent to a circle is perpendicular to the radius that it is drawn to at that point of tangency. So for example, in this picture, I know that my tangent, which I'm going to call line L, so that's the tangent, is going to be perpendicular to the radius called AB, and it's perpendicular at the place of their intersection, and that place of intersection is at the point B. So here we see purple radius AB perpendicular to line L at point B. Also, we know that tangent segments to a circle from a point outside the circle are congruent. So, in this particular case, I see a point outside of my circle. That point that I'm talking about that's outside of the circle is point A. So here's point A in orange. And the tangents that I draw from point A, which would be AC and AB, they are talking about the segments themselves. So if I erase off the ray part of it, what they're talking about here is that I know that these two segments that I'm talking about in purple, which end at point B and point C, are congruent to each other when I come from the point A outside of that circle. So hence AB and AC segments are congruent. So tangent segments to a circle from a point outside of the circle are congruent. AB and AC are congruent. They came from the same point. And lastly, when talking about tangents, there are two scenarios about circles that are meeting up at tangents. So if I look at my tangent lines, in the top picture, for example, so here's a line that I'm talking about, line L in this case. And what I'll notice is the circle on the left and the circle on the right are called externally tangent because they are not inside of each other, and they are tangent at the point B. Notice that we have two radii, radius CB and radius AB, which we also know when radii are drawn to a tangent, they create right angles. So I have two right angles here as well, which I could denote. And those top two circles are externally tangent, meaning they are not inside of each other. Down below, on the other hand, looking at the picture and looking at the line L in this case, which is tangent to the circle at point, let's call it T for tangent maybe. These two circles are nested inside of each other and are called internally tangent. Whereas in the previous one, we were talking about externally. And so what you can see, the difference here is externally means the circles are not inside of each other. Internally means the circles are inside of each other. Both scenarios have two circles tangent at the same point.